I've lost over 40 pounds after menopause with the help of a GLP-1 medication. Here's what surprised me. The hardest part hasn't been what to eat or how to get myself to the gym. It's been my mind. As a therapist, I started noticing patterns that either help me stay on track or quietly work against me. And today I'm going to share the mindset tips that have helped me stay steady and keep making progress. Some of them are simple, but they make a bigger difference than you'd expect. All right, let's go. If you're new here, hi, I'm Bobby. I've been sharing my GLP-1 health journey after menopause here on YouTube for the past year and a few months. I'm not a medical doctor. I am a psychologist by trade, but I'm not your psychologist. So none of this is medical advice or mental health advice. I'm just sharing the things that have worked for me. Always talk to your own healthcare providers when you're making decisions for yourself. Real quick, my starting weight 67 weeks ago was 210.1 pounds. I'm currently somewhere in the high 160s. I don't weigh myself every week, so I'm not sure exactly where I'm at the moment. I do a monthly update video. After menopause, but before GLP-1s, I just couldn't lose weight. Like no matter what I did, my weight kept creeping up. And the GLP-1 has been what has helped me to be able to lose weight at a healthy pace for this last year. I'm currently on 10 milligrams of Zepbound. I just went up from 7.5 to 10 a couple weeks ago, and it's doing well. I had some fatigue the day after my first shot, but I haven't had any since then. The reason I went up is my food noise was coming back and the appetite suppression wasn't quite as good. So yeah, I went up to 10 and it's working really well so far. I'm getting pretty close to maintenance. I'm 5'9", and I think somewhere in the 160s is going to be where I shift into maintenance mode. But right now, my body composition still has a little bit too much body fat. It's still not quite in a healthy range. Okay, let's get into some of my mindset tips. The first thing that has really helped me is to know your personal why and write it down, because it's easy to lose sight of it. A scale number is not a why. It can be a goal weight, but it's not your why. Your real why is, why do you want to reach that goal weight? Is it to be in less pain, to age better, to have more life in your years? Because those things are what is going to pull you forward on the hard days. My why is pretty basic. It's that I want to age as healthfully as I can. In the few years between menopause and when I started a GLP-1, I got a real taste for some of the aspects of aging that were really unpleasant, like joint pain, not being able to keep up with the kind of life I wanted to keep up with, like getting up and down off the floor really easily. I don't want to go back there. And that's a really powerful why for me. It's like, I feel so much better than I did, and I want to keep moving forward feeling this good. When I have motivation, it feels great, right? Like you can't stop me from meal prepping or going to the gym because I feel motivated and I want to do it. But motivation is really fickle. And if you rely on it, it's going to be really hard to be consistent. So being committed and leaning on habits has helped me to just keep going when I don't always feel motivated. And honestly, most of the time, I don't feel motivated. Most of the time, I would rather not go to the gym, and I'd rather do something more fun than meal prep on a Sunday afternoon. Make space for your goals to change as your journey evolves. I don't just mean your goal weight, although that might change too, but you don't know how you will change as your health gets better and as your habits change. For example, never once did I start a GLP-1 thinking, I want to get back into backpacking. It did happen directly as a result of all these health changes, and now I have a whole bunch of backpacking goals, but I never saw that coming. I was just thinking, I want to get healthy, I want to feel better, I want my risk factors to decrease, and all those things happened, but then some unexpected bonuses happened too. Try focusing on your behavior, not on the results of your behavior. So the results of eating right and exercising and taking your shot every week and hydrating properly, all those types of things, the results are likely to be losing weight, seeing your A1C go down into a healthy range, seeing your blood pressure go down into a healthy range. All of those results will happen and you can celebrate them, but we can't control when they happen. So focus on the behavior that gets you there. Focus on, I'm going to get enough protein, not I'm going to increase my lean mass by X amount. Or focus on, I'm going to exercise 3 times this week, not on, I'm going to lift X amount of pounds. The next thing is that consistency matters so much more than perfection. Just keep at it. Almost all of my progress is due to imperfect consistency and catching that spiral of like, oh, I blew it when I'm not perfect, catching that early and reminding myself like I didn't blow it. I might have blown off the gym for, most of the week, but I didn't blow it. I can just like get back to it. So we're aiming for good enough, repeated often. There is no point in my journey where things were perfect. I'm always struggling, not always, I'm almost always struggling to make myself exercise. I am a being who would just be happy at rest all the time, seriously. But I know that's not good for me, and I know I honestly wouldn't feel good if I did that. But it just takes commitment and getting myself out there, and then I feel good. If you're enjoying this, remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and share this with someone who you think might enjoy it. I also have an email newsletter. I send it out about every 2 weeks, and it's things that don't make it into my episodes, either because there's just not space or because I don't want to share it on YouTube, and just some extra stuff. Yeah, I'll link to it in the description. Being on a GLP-1 and improving your health and losing weight, it's not a quick fix thing. It is a marathon, not a sprint. And like it or not, discomfort and adjusting to change is part of the process. But frustration tolerance can be increased. It can be strengthened like a muscle. Remember that you don't have to fix or escape every uncomfortable feeling. Sometimes that just is what comes along with everything else. So realizing that and building your capacity to stick with it, even when it's not fun, is going to help get you through those tough patches. Data overwhelm is a thing. These days, there are so many different ways to measure progress with tracking your food, tracking your exercise, tracking your body composition, your weight. There are so many smart devices and AI devices to give you data. It can be a little paralyzing sometimes. I do use some of them, but what has helped me is to be selective and to pick and choose what I'm going to pay attention to. And just because you can track it doesn't mean that you have to track it. For me, it's looked like tracking protein and fiber, but I don't really track my carbs because I find that if I eat enough protein and I get enough fiber, my carbs take care of themselves, because it's hard to get enough fiber if you're eating a lot of like processed white flour and sugar. So if I'm making sure I get my fiber, it means I'm eating things like sweet potatoes or wild rice, and getting enough protein is filling me up and getting me those calories so that I'm not filling up on carbs. So that's just what works for me. It's not that you have to do it that way. In fact, I know a lot of you track your carbs carefully, and sometimes it's for a really compelling medical reason, like diabetes, and other times it's just what works. So figure out what works for you to focus on tracking and just track that and don't worry about everything else. In terms of tracking body measurements, I really like using my Body Pod and getting all the data. But if that just is overwhelming, honestly, take your measurements, get your weight. The weight will show overall how your weight is changing, and the measurements will give you some pretty good hints at how your body composition is changing. So for example, if your weight is staying the same over a long period of time, but your measurements are going down, you're actually not in a plateau. You're losing fat and gaining muscle because your body is weighing the same but getting smaller. So the simplest, bare bones, get a measuring tape and any old scale, that would be enough to get a pretty good idea of what's going on with you. I do a lot more than that because it's fun and I like it. It's really interesting to me. I make graphs. I show you guys graphs. But if it stresses you out, you don't have to get all the data. Try not to compare yourself to others. I know that's a lot to ask. I know I still do that. But catch yourself. Catch yourself and remind yourself that you're unique. Each of us is going to go at our own pace. I felt like my pace was really slow compared to a lot of other people. And honestly, it is on the slow end of normal to lose 40 pounds in a year or a little over a year. It's not the most dramatic weight loss story out there. But how nice that that didn't derail me and give up because I wasn't losing weight as fast as I thought I might, or as fast as I saw other people losing weight. So remind yourself that everyone's journey is unique, and try to treat all the data about your body, like your weight and so forth, just as data and not as any kind of reflection on how successful your journey is. Individual differences show up a lot with GLP-1s. Side effects, how different doses affect us, how our appetite changes, how our food noise changes, how fast we lose weight, how the medication affects all kinds of other health metrics like blood pressure and inflammation. All of these things vary so much among all of us, which means that comparing is an apples and oranges type of situation. Also, remember what a normal pace of weight loss is. It's 0.5 to 2 pounds a week, and that's average. Some people are slower and some people are faster, and that's okay too. The more you can detach judgment and your mood from the scale, the better off you'll be. So many of us have got a lot of body image BS to contend with that it can make data about our weight and our size feel really emotionally loaded. You're okay. You're already okay. There is no moral connection to our weight or our size. Instead of trying to reject or suppress that part of you that believes diet culture lies, try acknowledging it and just thanking it for its input, and just let it know you're gonna go on about your life being healthy. Those little voices and stuff in our head, they tend to get louder if they feel like they're being ignored because it thinks it's helping you. If it thinks that your self-worth really depends on your size, it's going to shout really loud if you start to detach from that. So just let it know, like, I hear you, thank you for your input, I got this, and see if it doesn't calm down a little bit. Self-talk really matters. Work on noticing when your inner dialogue is harsher than how you would talk to a friend. And then try talking to yourself the way that you would talk to a friend. Rephrase something the way you would say it to a friend. An example from my brain would be me noticing that I'm thinking, my progress is really slow, and reframing it. I wouldn't say that to a friend. I wouldn't say, your progress is really slow. It's really easy for me to picture saying to a friend, wow, you've really made a lot of progress. And to say, it's frustrating when it feels slow. Those are things you can say to yourself. They're so much kinder. Let people be confused. You don't owe a detailed explanation. If you are eating differently, if you look different, if your life is looking different, you can share that with whoever you feel comfortable sharing it with, but you can also just let people be confused. It's not your responsibility to fill them in on your personal life and your health journey. Expect plateaus. They're just flat sections in your weight or your measurements, and it doesn't mean that anything's wrong. That's just how our bodies work. I've had a lot of flat periods, and I knew I was feeling better, and that's what helped me sort of stay with it, is that I would notice, like, my weight hasn't gone down, but I am stronger at the gym, or I notice my clothes fit a little differently. Our bodies don't care about the scale. It's not a mind over matter thing where we can just decide that we're going to drop weight. Like, our bodies will drop weight when they're ready to drop weight. We can do all the things right, and it'll happen eventually. If it doesn't happen eventually, then yeah, talk to your doctor and see if there are things that you might need to change. Your brain will not remember all the small wins, so find a way to document them. If you write them down in a document on your computer, if you keep them in a journal, they can really help when you're feeling frustrated. Funnily enough, I didn't expect this, but starting this YouTube channel when I started GLP-1s is what has helped me to document my wins and my struggles. So I haven't written things down, but I will often go back and look at an old episode to be like, when did such and such happen? You know, when did I notice that I fit in airplane seats easier? And it's really helpful. You can start your own YouTube channel if you want to document it, but it's a lot of work. There's easier ways. But it is just really nice to be reminded of, oh yeah, I didn't always fit in airplane seats like this. find or create a support system for yourself. The reason I started this channel initially was just to not be alone and to find other women out there that were struggling with what I was struggling with. And it's been such a delightful surprise that this has grown as much as it's grown in the past year, and that I've been able to provide support to people. I wish I could say from the very beginning that was my intention, but honestly, I was just feeling alone and I just wanted to connect with some people. It wasn't very altruistic. I needed a support system. And now this can be part of your support system. I'm really active in the comments. I like to try to write back to you guys when you leave comments. So it's a nice community that we've got here. And whether it's here or someplace else for you, find that community. It helps so much to not feel alone. Next week, I'm going to have more tips that are food and eating focused. That'll be a fun one. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Bye.